Those who know me know that I adore cars, and today the Retro Classics show is happening near where I live. Let's go inside and browse some cars. Ooh, we're starting strong with arguably one of the best rally cars of all time, the legendary Audi Quattro. And if I'm being honest, this whole section is filled with legendary cars. I mean, look at it. You already can recognize a couple of them just from this shot. Porsches, Mercedes, I can even see 3 Valkyries. We are gonna have a good time. Speaking of rally legends, have you ever seen a Lancia Stratos up close? Back when Lancia was still relevant. About 490 of these cars were made somewhere between 73 and 78, and they also won the World Rally Championship quite a few times. I also like that they put "not for sale" in German basically, because yeah, everybody wants to own this, I mean those who have money to buy this. Lamborghini Huracan. The original baby Lambo. It has a V8 as opposed to a V12 that their bigger brethren, the Espada, the ugliest Lamborghini in existence, and the Arama, which was fine, where they had V12s. It could be yours for 100,000. No, I'm not putting pictures of the bigger brethren. You Google them yourselves and ruin your eyes. Oh, a rarity indeed. A Porsche 356B convertible with a 90 horsepower engine, I think it has on it. It's from the 1960s, and for those who say that it looks like a Beetle or it's very similar to the Beetle, here's a bit of history lesson as I try to awkwardly go around this pole here. Ferdinand Porsche was also the designer of the Beetle. And speaking of rare 356s, have a look at this Carrera 2. Basically what they've done is stick a 2-liter engine in it. A last hurrah of the model, because it was produced for about 15 years at that point, before they switched completely to the 911. If only I know how to time voice recording to camera shots. This is not just any ordinary 911. It's I don't know how to call this color, Carrera RS27, with of course the legendary ducktail spoiler. Here's another one better filmed in teal. Notice how it has those Carrera stickers on the side, just going all the way along the floor of the car. I don't know how to call that. The 2.7 badge there, the ducktail spoiler, and it's in pretty much showroom condition. This costs 875,000 euros. Now, there are a lot of classic 911s here, but this one is my absolute favorite. The first generation 911 Targa, with that brushed steel frame holding up the roof there. That black part of the roof, you can take it off. Curved rear window, gold lettering with 911T written on it. Ooh, how can I rob a bank? I want to rob a bank. Let's not think about criminal activities for a bit as we look at this. The only Ferrari I had the pleasure of driving so far. A 512 Testarossa parked in basically a whole lot of Ferraris. Now the one I drove was pretty much the first gen Testarossa. This is a second gen one. Even still, just driving it with its 4.9 liter flat 12 engine, I finally understood what James May meant with the fizz. If only the track I was on had a bit more room to maneuver so I could go past 100. Oh well, you gotta take your victories where you can. Me being here is also a victory, seeing the F355, the 328 and other Ferrari models. I'll just be honest with you, I'm not a big Ferrari fan. There's just way too many models and way too many numbers for me to keep track of. Though other people know their Ferraris. Take a look at this one, known as the Daytona Spider or GTS4 or something. For about 2 years, between 71 and 73, about 100 or so of them were made. And yeah, it's a very nice Ferrari in very pristine condition, until you see the price tag of it. Grab onto whatever solid object you have near you. This car is 1.7 million euros. Glad to see Lamborghini is here with their R8 model, and also Audi with their second generation Gallardo, the one I actually like how it's looking. And next to it we also have an Aventador LP750-4 SV Roadster. only the most mad and beautiful car the Volkswagen Group ever produced. The 911 GT1. A car which had absolutely nothing to do with the 911, yet it was still legendary, winning about a third of its races that it entered, most significant of which was Le Mans 98, where it won simply because it worked, as opposed to the others which were faster but they had a tendency to break down. Yes, I'm also aware the microphone is popping. No, I haven't found a permanent solution yet. This is my third favorite Porsche, a 930 Turbo Targa. Well, not exactly this one because it's a non-turbo version, but visually speaking, they're extremely similar. Apart from that metal frame, which shouldn't be brushed steel, it should be black, but I think brushed steel was also an option. Still, I like the aesthetics of it, and this was also the Comet car from the GTA series. I just adore it. Where else in the world could you see an Aston Martin Valkyrie? This is not a car. This is a race toy. This is something you just go out and have fun with it on a Le Mans or Nürburgring or something. And it's not just one. There's 3 of them at the same time. I'm at a genuine loss for words. They have a Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse. I don't care about all the other cars. They have a Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse. This is like only one of the fastest roadsters you can legally own. And because if you're in Germany, you are actually allowed to go to close to 400 kilometers per hour in it. Except that you can't really, because the traffic jams on the Autobahn are very frequent, and yeah. But still, seeing one of this is a dream come true. I never imagined that I would basically be in its presence. Again, I have to ask the question, how do you rob banks? I need to rob a bank. An E46 M3 GTR. Those of you who play Need for Speed Most Wanted, you know what car this is. You have driven what car this is. You have heard the sounds of what car this is, and you know how broken this car is in the game. And I could see it here. Granted, it's not the race version, it's the street legal version, but still, it's an M3 GTR with the 4-liter V8 in it. It's legendary. That's just what it is. It's legendary. 850i from BMW. That just catches your attention. A Grand Tourer with its interior with very questionable colors, but still, it has a phone inside. I have very rarely seen cars with phones inside of them. The Z8. While the car itself actually looks really nice in my opinion, it caused an uproar when it was chosen as the Bond car in the James Bond films. I mean, at the next film, just because of the uproar it caused, they made the first scene of the Z8 being sawed in half, and then James Bond taking an Aston Martin or something. That's not a DB5, that's a DB6. Still, pretty neat. The point I'm trying to make now, after nerding up a bit about those really expensive cars, is that BMW used to make good-looking cars. The Z1 is questionable, but still, that's the main point. So, what the stink is this? Who thought it was a good idea to put the Angry Birds pig nose at the front of a BMW? Especially when you compare it to the E30. Look, that's a normal-sized grille. That looks fine. This just looks like a pig nose. Fix it! Okay, to calm myself down a bit, here is one of the best looking cars Lotus ever made. The Esprit Turbo. Though personally I'm a fan of the newer Esprit V8, I do have to say, even this one just looks gorgeous. Oh, TVR mate, good to see you around here. I'm sorry that you're not being produced anymore because you made some fantastically absurd cars. Very simple, rear-wheel drive, big engines. It's really sad to see you just disappear. Oh, Triumph mate, nice to see you around as well. It's a shame that you got bought by BMW because then you left the affordable British motor cars with this. Oh god, and we wonder why British cars are not that popular anymore on the planet. It's just, Rover, mate, you also made some interesting cars until you decided that the best thing you could do is just do the same car that MG is doing it and just flood the market with crap, unreliable sedans and estate wagons and his... And we wonder why British cars are not on the planet anymore. The cheap ones, I mean. See, that was the MG, and this is the Rover 70. It's the same car. They just kept competing against each other and drove themselves into the ground. Kinda like what GM did in Australia. There's also tractors here. Even though I play Farming Simulator on a regular basis, I know nothing about tractors. I do know about this Mercedes. You can do anything in this car. It just never dies. I'm pretty sure you can just fix it with a simple wire loop and a spanner. It's just the unkillable Mercedes, and it's absolutely stunning in its pristine condition. I saw these for about 10 to 20,000, not exactly the same model, but about 10 to 20,000 euros, and I'm not gonna lie, I am really tempted to buy one. This is NSU. In a nutshell, they used to produce sewing machines, knitting machines, then they went to produce bicycles, motorcycles, and cars. These are some of the last cars they've produced before being bought by Volkswagen, merged with Auto Union, and to form Audi, which is now based in NSU, Neckarsulm. And these mad lads actually took these NSU cars and made them race cars. Oh, that's just amazing! I'm pretty sure there's a small championship or something for these kinds of cars. I need to look it up. Alfa Romeos make for excellent static display pieces. You just never know if they will ever start again. This is my second favorite Porsche, the simple 914. It has a Targa roof that you can take off, it has reasonably economical small engines, it's mid-engined rear-wheel drive, it looks like the 70s, and it's just an absolute fantastic car. Back then it was also reasonably cheap. These days you're looking at least 20,000 euros for one of these. As for this black 914, this mad lad decided that 4 6-cylinders, it's not enough. He stuck a V8 from a 928 in it. That's just madness. I'm just impressed. Good job. And by this point in the video, if you guessed that I'm a Porsche fanboy, you win a prize. And that prize is buses. Even though I don't play Bus Driver Simulator, I know nothing about buses. The Golfs are present here in their GTI and whatever forms, and this car just sticks with us Europeans. I mean, my first car was a Golf 4 1.4 petrol, which was slow, and now I'm driving a Seat Leon, which is still, if you remove the exterior body, a Golf. You just can't get rid of them. Ah yes, more bad timing with voice recording as we have a look at this 1966 289 V8 Ford Mustang in pristine condition for 31,000 euros. I want this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will do it. Soon. Probably. Hopefully. You ever seen RC cars drifting before? No? Well, neither have I. I mean, that's actually cool. A track set up just for you to drift these cars. The toys have gone really far this time and age, didn't they? Speaking of drifting, a Toyota Treno. Those of you who know cars, I don't need to say anything anymore. Just look at it. Nissan Skyline GTR R33. It's kind of a forgotten child in the GTR family. It was just overshadowed by the R32, which I'll show in a bit, even though it is pretty unique and it's still cool and all that stuff. But then again, you have the R34. I don't need to say anything again. Everyone knows what an R34 Skyline is. Everybody played the Need for Speed Underground series to know what the R34 Skyline is. It's just... yeah, I have no words. I genuinely have no words. As for this R32 Skyline, it looks very basic on the outside. No, it looks very normal. Definitely not modified to have 700 horsepower. Definitely not modified to go over 340 kilometers per hour. No, it's just a basic R32. You can never tell that it has been modified in any way possible. And I for sure would definitely not want to own one of these modified supercars at all. At all. There's also an RX-7 with that rotary Wankel engine. Be careful how you say that word. Everyone who played racing games in their life, be it either arcade, mobile, whatever, they know what an RX-7 is. It's exactly that model of car. That's just amazing again. Toyota is also present here with their Supra. This is the Supra that everyone knows and everybody's seen in the game, but very few have seen this one. This is the previous generation Supra, and you want to know one very interesting thing about it, besides the fact that it's a Targa? There was this Supra for sale for 13,000 euros. Genuinely, hand on my heart, if I had the money saved then and had a bit extra to fix any underlying issues, I would have bought it. Right there, right then. Is it a midlife crisis car? Yeah, absolutely. But god damn it, we are all allowed to have one. Mine was that one. Yours could be one of these Thunderbirds, which are, well, Landships. They're just Landships. They're so big. How do you even park one of these? Nope, sorry, I confused the videos. That was a Chevrolet Impala, and this is a Lincoln Continental. My point about Landships still stands. These are the Thunderbirds you're looking for. Again, they're just so massive. This one was made in 62 and the other one was made in 68. Such a stark difference in how they're built, how they look exteriorly, as opposed to, like, say, the 911, which incrementally go... Oh, there I go again about being a Porsche fanboy. I don't know what this is. If you try to put the code there that says HE111, that just points you to World War II bombers. Which, ironically, is not that far off, as the HE111 was powered by a Daimler engine, and this is meant to evoke, at least from the front, the Mercedes-Benz C111 prototype. Even though if you go to the back of it, it has the rear lights of a Porsche 924. Still, but what a weird find. It's definitely a one-off prototype, and yeah, there'll never be a mass production for such a thing. It's unique, and yeah, now it's videoed and everyone knows about it. Well, everyone watching this knows about it anyways. Want some more obscure cars? Bitter. I have never in my life heard about Bitter. Founded by Erich Bitter, may he rest in peace, basically what he did was rebody existing production models, usually Opels. Needless to say, they are very scarce. So imagine my absolute surprise when I saw a whole field of bitters. Those have to be about a 20th to a 10th of the total production of bitters, and yeah, I never heard of them before, and honestly, they look nice. One of the other cars people actually know about, and it's rather obscure, is the Tommaso Pantera, and I don't get it. I always see this car in shows and museums and so forth. I don't see at first glance what's special. And even design-wise, there's nothing to write home about. It's been done before. I just don't get this car. It's been dragging for a bit too long, but before I end, two more things. First, let's look at some cars that people call nuggets. You know who you are. A Fiat 126 in original pristine condition, also built in Poland and it's known as the Polski Fiat, also sold in Australia and it's known as the FSM Niki. This car is, again, something that just runs and can be fixed with a coil of wire and a spanner. The original standard nugget. So imagine my surprise when I saw someone making a racing version of it. Why? Some things, I guess, are not meant to make sense. Including this Mitsubishi Colt being sporterized as a rally car? But why? You also have this slew of mini nuggets built by every single car manufacturer imaginable in the 60s and 70s in Great Britain. I'm surprised Aston Martin and Jaguar didn't build minis. Renault 4 from France, also known as the Catrel because French. This one's a bit of a nugget as well because it has this weird offset wheelbase at the back. Just because how the suspension is built. You have like one wheel in the back on the left side is behind the other one. So it just looks weird. But there can be only one king nugget, and it's this one. A 500, which... yeah. Who decided it's a good idea to put gull-wing doors on a Fiat 500? To quote Top Gear, somebody decided to give this Fiat 500 the sporting credentials it did not deserve. Yeah, that's it. This is King Nug. All hail King Nug. The second point is, I'm going to fanboy one more time about Porsche. Take a look at this first generation 911. Now take a look at this one. Do you think there's any difference between them? If your answer is, nah man, they look roughly similar, well, you're wrong. This is a Porsche 912. The basic story is the 911 production was about to start, and it was going to replace the 356. The trouble was the 911 with its 6-cylinder engine was way more expensive than the 356, so the solution? Just use the same chassis, same body, not that many features inside it, and there you go. This is the Porsche 912, the entry-level Porsche. About 30,000 of them were produced. Ah, forgot to say, they only had engines in 4 cylinders. If you made it to this point of the video, man, you are a beast. I don't really have good endings planned for this one, so thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada, and until next time.